We welcome the night.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Horror Night Oasis, a radio show where we discuss the latest movies and news from the world of horror. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host, Ian. Ian, are you there?
I am.
How are you this week, sir?
Oh, I have been better.
Well, I'll say this. My little thing that I mentioned last week, all good. Nothing wrong, so we're good there. So that's good news. That was kind of unexpected. Didn't know what to expect on that, but we're good, clear there. So that was some good news this week, besides just, everything else in the world. But we're here, and we're here to continue on our Savage Sirens marathon. And every now and then, Ian, we always have to get one that's a turd in the punch bowl, and we got that this time around. We weren't too lucky. We kind of struck 2 for 2, but now we're 2-1, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We have Mermaid's Curse, and I'm just going to say this up front. I'll give the synopsis and everything and talk about my thoughts, but we probably will get into spoilers because it just has to be done with this film. I know it's new, because I know you can buy it at Walmart, and it is available on Tubi. But there's a lot of stuff in this film I just need to go into. There's just a lot. The bad ones have the most to discuss. It's so weird. But Mermaid's Curse, we start off the film with this couple. They're on the beach, or the coastal line shore of this town. Again, I'm not exactly sure where the film's taking place because there's a bunch of accents all over the place. There's Australian, there's British, there's American. I'm not exactly sure where this film takes place. I just know it's a coastal shore, apparently. And there's this couple on this beach, and they go right out and break fourth wall, sort of. And like, oh, you're lucky this isn't, it's not a horror movie, or else or else as soon as you show your tits, you take your tits out, you'd be dead, and then proceed to fuck on the beach almost. And so because the guy brings up like, oh, there's mermaids, and like I think she was like French or not Russian so she might have been like Russian. Like I said, all accents all over the place, or Czech or something like that, French. So he's like doing this thing. Oh, there's all these people used to disappear. There's all these disappearances, and that's the whole thing he brought up. Like, luckily this isn't a horror movie thing. And so they proceed to make out, and then they show a lady get out of the water, and then proceed. You hear a song. A simple melody song play, and the guy gets up and just walks to the edge of the beach or shore, and basically gets eaten by this lady. Came out of the water. And then the girl runs back to her car, and then she proceeds to get attacked as well. And then we're introduced to our main character, Jake, who is a journalist working for this. He's working on this story. He's able to break the story about all these disappearances, and so he's doing all these interviews and talking, wanting to know more about, is it a serial killer? Is it something else? And then his girlfriend, Charlotte, believe it or not, cheats on him with his roommate, and that causes him to kind of go, like, crazy. And then, like, the roommate and the girlfriend's like, come on, man. It's like, you fucked my girlfriend. Of course I want you to leave the fucking room, our apartment we're sharing. And then the girlfriend later on in the movie is like, come on, I had no feelings for him. It was a one-time thing. I want to make this work. And, like, he's not having any of it, Jake is. And so basically he comes across the girl that came out of the water, and who is, she's a mermaid or a siren. And because there's literally no mermaid, honestly, in the film, because all the supposed mermaids walking and have legs, and it's not like Mermaid Down where it grows. It's just like they don't have a tail, even though you only get like a partial tail. It's like a half tail fin almost. They show after Jake and the mermaid fuck on the beach, but there's a lot of problems with this film. And the whole thing, there's really hardly any movie. I've pretty much explained most of the movie, and it lasts an hour and a half. It's just Jake comes, deals with the breakup. Well, he's trying to deal, he wants to part ways with Charlotte, and he's telling his roommate to leave because of the ordeal. He meets the mermaid siren on the pier, under the pier, on the shoreline. Here's the song of the siren, and then he's embraced with the siren, and then he fucks the siren, and then he doesn't do anything else. He brings her back because, again, he brings her back to the house because she has like all these like places on her face, these like wounds, like the skin is like beat to, it's a very weird looking. It's like it's not scales. It's just like, it's like almost like burns in a sense. And then like she has those before, but then like she kills the roommate, and then that's how she regains, looks better, heals her wounds. And like, there's just so much wrong with this, Ian. I'll let you give your thoughts, and then we're going to go back and forth because there's a lot. There's a lot to discuss with this one.
Boy. Oh, boy. God. It was not entertaining. I did not like... It was kind of a struggle to watch it.
Yeah, it was boring.
Mostly because it was just...
We're going to come out and say it. It was a boring set.
There was just nothing that just grabbed your attention. And sometimes, some things happened that just felt like, out of nowhere and wasn't really necessary. I don't know, it felt like a very long hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing actually, like, like you said, nothing really happens. It's like, they just throw in a bunch of random stuff just to kind of fill the gaps. I think this movie would have worked better as a short than a feature length. I definitely could see this being shortened
Honestly,
down.
if they knew what they were doing, because again, we say this like sometimes less is more, but like again, like I'm gonna go like with Nazi Zombie Carnage. I mean, it was 3 hours long, but it was solid. A solid 3 hours because it just you wanted to see this low budget film go. It's like a little train that could. This one, for half the time of Nazi Zombie Carnage, there's just nothing, and like there's just nothing to grasp onto. There's no mermaid. There's no fucking curse. And like I said to you when I like after I said I watched it, and I said it should be titled Because the Movie, because there's like things happen in this thing, like as you said, Ian, things happen just because. There's no rhyme or reason, like why are the mermaids sort of acting like zombies? Because why do they heal their wounds like vampires and suck blood? And because, it's just like why there's just like all these things that happen in the film. Oh, just because, like why does the mermaid Siren kill the roommate? Because, and but she doesn't want to kill the main guy, but she tries to and suck the blood out of it, or eat him, whatever they do. Because what's the point of the fucking ending? Because there's no reason for half this thing, and it's just like it's so out of place. Like what? I didn't mean to interrupt you, and it's just like again.
Oh no, you're fine. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the ending was just kind of meh. Like it didn't really. I don't know. There was like just so many things. Like, I mean, I get it. Sirens eat people. That's the whole point. But like, I got that. But then they threw in the Salem witch trials, and I was like, aren't you in fucking Europe? And I was like, I mean, you're in Europe. How, like, did those bodies just float all the way out there? And, like, I have no idea. It's just,
and then, like,
no
what curse, and then, like, what kind of curse or spell is there to make you turn into a mermaid? Like, I understand witches and apparently witches, but, like, there's just, like, because they cut their hands off, but then they regrowed their hands, and, like, I guess they have a tail. I don't know, because they walk on all two legs, even though you get one shot. Like, again, one shot of a fin, and that's half a fin. You don't even get a full mermaid like you did in previous two films.
Yeah.
You just get like it's like an Amish lady showing you her leg, her ankle. Like, oh, that's all you get.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so. And the fact that, like, when they introduced the whole pack of sirens, that made no sense. Because I was like, wait, if it's a whole pack, then wouldn't there be more disappearances, more deaths?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I guess just because. Like, it's like, okay, well, let's introduce, like, and if there was a coven of witches, and now it's the Salem witch trials, and they were done terrible, and they used magic, and it's like, okay, this, I would have just rather they just be sirens, because then that adds a whole nother element to it that is stupid. And it's like, they literally, it was just like, oh, they were like, hey, do you want to, is there any explanation for why the sirens are doing it? They're like, no. Oh, well, you just want to make one up on the spot? I'm like, yeah. And then that old man was like, yep, I worship them. Okay, thanks. And now you're just, and then, I'm just going to kill this lady for no reason.
Oh, speaking of that, he killed her. He stabbed her. He stabbed her dead. And then at the end, when the mermaids, he's there with his little his little shrine and like her laying there, and they start eating her, and then she's screaming like she was stabbed to death earlier in the film. How is she fucking moving and screaming?
Because.
Because. And like they weren't even eating. They were eating her clothes. There was no blood. There was no like zombie remains. Like if you would eat, skin or like pull stuff apart, and there'd be like part of clothes and stuff coming in there. There's none of that. They're just like hovering above her, fake eating or eating her pants. The one at the very end was definitely eating her pant leg. And oh my god, there's just like so many things. And then like again, like he wants. The girlfriend, Charlotte, pretty much it's obvious he doesn't want anything to do with her. Jake. He doesn't want anything to do with her, and she goes along and saves him, and then again, he has nothing to do. He doesn't want anything to do with her, basically, because he heard the song of the siren, and he's transfixed on the one siren. He loves the siren, basically. And then he goes around, and then again, the whole fucking ending where he does one thing and then does something else, and it's just like it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like why you would do that and then it just ends that way. It's just like there's no fucking point to the fucking ending, and why you needed the 1 month later to show that, it was fucking stupid.
Yeah. It was like they were probably like, oh, we need like 10 more minutes of pointlessness. Let's just add this. And
then the girlfriend just disappears. Like, oh, you're so weird. I haven't heard anything from you. Then why the fuck did he save her? Like he just let the mermaid kill her like the normal, and then just do the whole fucking ending. It'd been fine. He didn't need to elongate the fucking thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Him
it's like
sulking around, is just like it was pointless. It was just.
Yeah, it was. Oh man. Yeah, that movie, I honestly would not recommend.
No, it's like I said,
unless you just want to waste an hour and a half.
This is the worst one. Yeah, exactly. There's no point to this film. Like I was like, and then you have the one guy who I guess he's the town drunk or something, or he's some kind of sailor, but he's like wanting to bang two chicks. That's when they were introduced to the other sirens, and so like okay, it was just there so we can have like sex in a sense, applied sex, and just like even though that one the chubby blonde was cute, I liked her.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like it was pointless. Like oh they're dead. There's just no reason. That's how we're introduced to the other sirens, and then again, just like everything does not add up to the point of the film, and like. I'm sure there's a few more instances in this film where it's just like again I watched it earlier today and it's already gone half the things that happened except for like the main things that stood out, and it's just going to be one of those that's just going to be totally erased from my memory, but probably sometime soon because there's nothing, there's no substance here. We said that before, but there's nothing to grasp onto besides the fucking ending, which is fucking pointless, and then his agent getting stabbed to death but then magically alive and then gets killed again. And then the way that they sang, I didn't even get to that point yet. Like there's no like okay, so it doesn't happen until like the very end, whereas like why are there, because when they sang they do this sort of melodic like humming like something like that, but it's not matching the movements of their mouth. All right, the siren's mouth, it's all imposed, it's over, it's soundtrack. And then like they do that and like the ears start bleeding of the person that who is hearing it, like the Charlotte, her ears start bleeding, and then the roommate and the other guy, their ears start bleeding, and then it doesn't match up. And then later on, of course, like I was like saying, like why isn't there like a louder voice or a low like a hum, like amplified, low hum or something like that. And then finally at the end you get the big shriek that kind of makes sense. But like everything else just didn't make, like why is it so out of place with her mouth movements? And of course it's over, it's a soundtrack, but still there's just like that part that just looked stupid. It looked stupid with like it's not matching, And I know it's low budget, and I know but my God, it did not look good. And then the whole thing with like, again, I guess they need blood to survive for some reason. And then like the pack of sirens stalk like zombies do apparently, and there's just a lot of things that did not make any sense to again, just because. That's why I said it. Just because of the because of the movie. It doesn't make sense. Or why is this happening? Because that's why. That's like the answer to everything. Because there's no other way. There's no fucking way possible. Like, why does he save his girlfriend at the end? Because. Why does he go against it? Because. There's just so many things. Like, why did the old vagrant of the town decide to stab the agent? Because it just did not. There's just so many problems with this one. And this is like, again, like we had a few problems and issues with other, like here and there with like the Charlotte or Mermaid song, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it was okay. I enjoyed Mermaid song, and there wasn't, again, issues here and there. But when it's just like things that happen for no fucking reason, and like the way character changes on a whim, it does not make any sense. And because being the reason. It's just bad on the filmmaker.
Right. And if it was me, I would have at least set the tone with like, the whole witch thing in the beginning. I would have just started with that, and then it would have at least kind of made more sense instead of just like, oh yeah, well this is why. And I don't know, tweak a little bit of things. I mean, I felt like the story was kind of there. It just was poorly executed. It's like they didn't even try. They're just like trying to make a movie for the sake of making a movie, and I get that, but at the same time, like, like at least
like
try
you're
to pay
supposed
attention.
And then with, again, Charlotte being the hero, but she had an affair. She cheated on her boyfriend at pretty much the beginning of the movie. Like, I don't care about her. Why should I care about her being the hero? I mean, I can understand if there's like some kind of redemption story later on, and but there's none of that. She literally fucked behind her boyfriend's back, and now we're just like, oh, forgive me, people who watch this, even though you don't know me. It's like, I'm a good person now. I want to make things work. Like, no, you still cheated. you're still.
And
I mean,
she was annoying too. Oh, I said I'm sorry. Oh, God, like how many more times do I have to say I'm sorry? Like, geez, it's like really, you literally hurt this dude, and now you're gonna like beg for forgiveness and act like an asshole because he's not forgiving you?
Yeah, like, both the girlfriend and the roommate were just asses about it. Like, come on, man, she was nothing. And like, well, she was something to me. And then I mean, you kind of feel, you do kind of get a little sympathy for for Jake. And then like when he finds the mermaid, like, yeah, fuck it, you fuck the mermaid, fuck, get your rocks off, enjoy it. At least there's something there, even though it's more of a trance-like state. But, like, fuck Christ, man. Like, it's better than, at least the mermaid kind of has feelings for you and kind of still did towards the end. Even though it was like an awkward, weird version of Splash. But it was just, instead of, it was just
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, at least Splash actually was enjoyable and made more sense.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
So there's just it's just like there's so many things that were just not done correctly with this film, and it's just again, you could have tweaked a few things in the script, and I do think if they made like the mermaids, again, I don't even know why I'm calling them mermaids because they don't have a tail. They're walking normally. Like if they made them like some kind of like carnivorous sort of like piranha, like if they were like sort of like piranha, right? And like again, keep it in that zombie like esque atmosphere, style that you wanted to do, or whatever, vampire mermaids, whatever, because they heal their wounds. But if like they made it like that and like they were carnivorous or something, interesting like that, I mean, I could have been for it, like stalking, prey, in a sense, because like they have to, in order to retain their immortality, they have to do that every so often, like a Jeepers Creepers type thing. Like every so many years, like they have to eat or drink blood to stay alive. Like, I mean, that would have been interesting. But there's like none of that anywhere in this. It just happens that they do these things, and it doesn't make an entertaining movie, and it's just a long watch. And like I said, if they had just a tweak and what I just said were to happen, I mean, I'd been okay. It just have a point to things happening, not just because.
Yeah. And it's just I mean, that's kind of what I thought this movie was going to be when I was reading it. It just felt like this was going to be the bad one that we watch. But I had this feeling, but I didn't expect it to be like that bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I hate seeing movies that have, like, when we watch these things, these movies, and some of them that have, like, pretty decent potential, like a potential to be good, and they just squander it around because they're just like, I don't know what I'm doing, and this seems cool, so I'm just going to add it. Like, just at least put a little bit more, thought, like write down like an actual storyboard and be like, and read it out and be like, oh, you know what? This actually doesn't make sense. Like I think a good storyboard would have fixed this entire movie. But
yeah, we're not going a first draft. They're just like taking like I don't know, like a bad romance novel where almost like the first couple pages. Oh, this will make a good hour-and-a-half movie.
Yeah, and I mean, like what she had said, the reason why she cheated on him in the first place was because he was not there ever since he took that job. But apparently, like from what I've gathered, he wasn't doing that job for very long. So it's like.
No.
And
he's going straight for her. Like everything leads to her being the bitch, and like she's supposed to be the hero of the movie, and she's literally the bitch of like everything that she was saying was just going back and slapping her in her own face, and just I was like I said when he got the chance to fuck the siren, like yeah fuck her, who cares?
And she got mad when she was like, is somebody in the room? And he was like, yeah, it's blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay. And so you're going to get mad. And I was like, I was thinking, too, I was like, now, it would have been one thing if, like, he was so, like, involved for, like, a year or a couple of years? He was just wrapped up in his job, not staying at home, sleeping at the office or whatever. Like, I was like, okay, I could forgive that. Loneliness built up over time. I can understand that. But just like, oh, he's been ignoring me for a month. It's like, yep, oh, that's grounds for cheating. Okay.
Yeah.
She's like, this is the first time. We've never done it before. And it's like, okay, is better because? Literally because? And then just the whole movie, just her begging. That's literally almost the entire movie.
She was a stalker. She was too much. She was the stalker in the film. It was like she was at his door, constantly sending texts, wanting to like, oh, it's water under the bridge. Let's go. I want to start anew. I'm ready to move past this. Like move past it. It just happened 2 days ago, or how many ever days it was, and it was just like all this stuff was just like. And then again, the fucking ending, like, oh, I'm gonna save you because of he saves her. I mean, fucking spoiler. He saves her from being attacked by the mermaid, right? He stabs the siren, and then he 1 month later happens, and then it just retcons everything that just happened. It just does not make a fucking sense why that happened, because he goes fucking crazy, and he does the same fucking thing that happened earlier in the film where he goes silent and doesn't want to go with her. And he's sulking around, and it's like, oh, I'm just gonna go live with the mermaid now. It's just like, what's the point of fucking saving her? Just let the mermaid kill her, and then go live with the mermaid. Do The Shape of Water.
No, and exactly, and that's just like, I mean, either way, unless she uses her magic to change him, it's like, it's not going to work. It's like, there's literally no way. Like, this is like, just stupid. Like, this ending is completely, utterly dumb, because, like, you have this, like, yeah, I was hoping that he would, for, like, at least, like, when he went to save her, like, that they had patched things up and kind of moved forward. I thought it would have been kind of stupid on his part, but I was like, it's whatever. And then just like, oh, nope, I'm just not over that, and now I'm going to scream and cry and beg you for forgiveness, like my girlfriend did with me, and then just keep going to the water. And then, oh, okay, I'm going to go drown myself, because I don't have guilt. It's just, I didn't understand it.
No, it was stupid. Ian, remember, because. That's the whole fucking point of the movie. Because. There's no reason, because.
Yeah.
That's all this film was, is just a big because.
And exactly. And there's just, like, nothing. It's like, there's literally nothing. And too much at the same time. It's like, it was a weird combination of nothing and too much.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was like too much pointlessness.
Another thing, like, did she eat the roommate's body or something? Because, like, he came in there and there was nothing show where that roommate disappeared to after. Because she, again, ate him, I'm assuming, to the bone, and ate the bones. Because and cleaned up the mess afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, she got a mop and broom and cleaned it. And
in the span of him going to the store and getting bandages, which was like 15 minutes.
Exactly.
In movie time, I guess.
Was like, wait, where? I was like, where the hell did he go? Did she like throw his body out the window and feed her buddies? And that's another thing. Like, they were hard. Her friends should have, like, her little coven or whatever should have been more prominent. Because if they are hunting as a pack, it's just like we want to show something a little different right in this scene, so we're just going to add a bunch of sirens. And it's like, okay, but where do they go? What are they doing? Like, are they just following the head around, or are they just like mindlessly attacking people? I would have enjoyed that much better.
They needed to make a reason, like I said, for them to suck blood and go after people, or eat flesh and whatever to heal their wounds or to survive. They needed to add something like that, but it's just no reasoning. There's none. There's no reason why there needs to be more than one, because it really didn't revolve around them. They just needed to include more scenes with people getting attacked, and they couldn't do that with just one. So they just had to throw it in probably last minute, or like for no reasoning, just like, oh, we could do this. Because, again, they cut from like a casual conversation between him and I guess the girlfriend, right? And they're talking, and it's like going back and forth with like the three-way on the beach, and then it goes back. It shows the literal whole scene. Like, there's no reason for it to go cutting back and forth. They just implemented that scene between the Jake and the girlfriend, or the agent, or whoever it was, and the whole beach scene happened, and then it cuts back to them at the wherever they were at, and it was just there.
Yeah.
It was just put in there, and then it's just like, oh, we need that back now, and like, oh, they can eat this lady, and then like there's just again having 3 or 4 other sirens in there was, of course, for the whole witch trials thing. But I'm sure that wasn't a point in there either. They're like, well, we can include this aspect in there, but again, they don't even give, no reasoning why the whole fucking witch trial thing, and then again, the whole Mermaid's curse, like, who's the curse? Where's the curse come from? Is it on this town, or who's the curse? I mean, it's them apparently, I guess, for a living, but it's usually, but they put the curse on themselves or spell, and it's just like it did not make fucking sense. And I hate that.
Yeah. And most of that stuff could have been forgiven if it wasn't so damn boring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really did not care for any character, not even the main character. He was just kind of there, and that's all I felt like he was. He was just there.
Honestly, I'm going to say any character I liked, it's the dude who kissed the chubby blonde. Like, the only one, like, yeah, fuck yeah. Get in there.
Yeah, because,
even though it's just a movie and it's nothing, it's just like, that's the only character, like, yeah, man, fuck, 3-way. I don't know how you managed to do that, but fucking do it. You there?
It's so, yeah, I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
Taking a moment to, but no,
it's just one of those you just have to look back and like, again, I was getting things like, okay, what happened in this movie? When I was getting ready for the show, and I only remembered certain parts, and that was it, because there's nothing to remember. Sadly, honestly, I'm not even gonna say sadly. I mean, it's not worthwhile. I mean,
I barely remember it, and like, I just watched it literally like right before the show. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, this one I would not recommend at all. And again, that whole Mermaid's Curse, it probably was a different title, and they just like, I mean, it didn't even make sense. Like, they could have called it like, I was gonna say like Shriek of the Siren or something like that. I mean, that sounded better than Mermaid's Curse, but because it made more sense to the story than because there's no
Siren Witches.
Yeah.
Something
like that. Like,
I don't know. Maybe she cursed themselves.
Yeah, apparently because she did that very last minute. As soon as they got she managed to recite a curse underwater or a spell underwater or whatever by pushing all of them. Again, you didn't see that much. You just saw getting hands chopped off or after effects of the hand getting chopped off. And then, what gore there was nothing. And again, the way that the wounds on their face, I guess they're aging. I don't know. It didn't make sense. They could have done the whole Countess Bathory thing, too. Like, oh, we're aging, getting old. That's how we regain our immortality by the blood of random people. But, again, nothing happens. No reason, just because. And I said that 100 times, but that's the fucking point of this movie, just because.
Yeah.
If you're going into it for an intellectual movie or reasoning behind things happening, you're not going to get that. Why? Because. So there you go. That's my final thought, Ian.
I got nothing else.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for this week's show. And usually, again, we have one bad one every now and then, and we got one more show for our Savage Sirens Marathon, and hopefully this one's. We do have an idea. We do know which one our finale is, so hopefully we're looking forward to that one. See how that turns out. But yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's episode, tonight's show. Ian, as always, it's great talking with you. And we there is one thing too. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. We're doing our marathon. We'll get into that later. But anyway, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time as we complete our Savage Sirens Marathon.
Good.